What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Deepwater Horizon, starring Mark Wahlberg and Kurt Russell. Now, Deepwater Horizon is based on the story the about the disaster of the Deepwater Horizon back about 10 years ago. I think. Damn, 10 years ago was that disaster. Now, I am not familiar with the real life story about the Deepwater Horizon disaster. I just know about it through this movie, so I'm just going to talk about this movie on its own merits. Deepwater Horizon as a disaster movie is really, really good. I thought this was a well made, well crafted movie. I thought Peter Berg, who directed this movie, brought a grounded realism to this movie. That's one of the things that really struck me about Deepwater Horizon, the movie. It has a grounded realism to it, and Peter Berg did a real good job at just seeing these people live as just normal people. They act like the working class pretty much. These characters are white knuckled working class people who have to deal with bureaucrats. And it's actually the bureaucrats who are indirectly responsible for the unfortunate disaster of the Deepwater Horizon. And I like how Peter Berg went about this story from a neutral stance. He did not condemn, nor did he condone the bureaucratic decisions behind around the disaster. To me, he looked at it from a very neutral standpoint. But at the same time, I think Berg sided with the working class, and being a working class myself, I also would side with the working class because at the end of the day, they have to listen to the bureaucrats who make all the decisions. And when it came to and when you watch this movie, it's really the bureaucrats that made the decisions, that made some of the decisions that should not have been made, and that's what caused the unfortunate tragedy of the Deepwater Horizon. So by having all that said to you, how does this movie work? Like I said, I thought this is a well done, well made disaster movie. Like I said, Peter Berg brought a natural, grounded realism to it. He really captures that white knuckle, that white knuckle feel to it. Mark Wahlberg and Kurt Russell as pretty much the co-leads of this movie, I thought did a really good job at anchoring this thing. Kurt Russell plays the character of Mr. Jimmy, who is pretty much a well-respected boss to everyone on the Deepwater Horizon, while Mark Wahlberg plays this character of Mike, who is also a member of the Deepwater Horizon and is also a well-respected member as well. They have to deal with like the John Malkovich character, who is one of the bureaucrats who tells them to make decisions that they know they should be made, and once that decision is made, that's where the disaster happens. And from a visual standpoint, I think the actual disaster of Deepwater Horizon looks visceral. It looks real. It looks intense, and it looks just flat out scary. And I can't praise Peter Berg enough for creating that just horrific amount of suspense once the accident takes place and these characters are pretty much in a fight for survival. And what I do appreciate about this movie is that it tells the story of real life heroes. These people worked together to save one another, and they did. And Peter Berg should be commended with the fact that he took this story and he gave it the amount of respect and class that he possibly could do it. And like I said, he didn't condone or condemn. He told the story, and I thought he told the story really, really well. And not only that, like I said, it has a very, very strong cast that includes Mark Wahlberg and Kurt Russell and John Malkovich. But you also have a good supporting cast with Gina Rodriguez, Dylan O'Brien, Kate Hudson, and Ethan Sluppy. And I thought they all did fine in their roles. They all played their roles really, really well. I thought the chemistry with the cast, it was really, really solid. This movie does not have any standout performances, to be honest with you. And like I said, and I think for a movie like this, it kind of works. But at the same time, you know, you're not gonna get a performance that's really gonna shock and amaze you and grab you. Yeah, and to this movie's credit, that's not what Peter Berg's intention was, and I appreciate that. But when you compare Deepwater Horizon to other disaster movies, there are some that are definitely better than Deepwater Horizon, but I think Deepwater Horizon told a much better, more personal story, and it just felt more real just because it's based on more truer events. And the fact that Peter Berg made it feel real, like he made you feel when you watch this movie, you feel like you're on the Deepwater Horizon. You feel like you're in peril with the rest of these characters. And I can appreciate Peter Berg doing something like that, like really making you feel what these people went through. You know, the fight for survival, not knowing if you're going to make it out alive or not. And I thought Peter Berg, again, captured all that perfectly. And he had a great cast to bring his story to life. Uh, but yeah, getting all that out of the way, there are some things in this movie that I don't really that didn't really care for. Like, I do like the John Malkovich character. He comes across as a swarmy dick, a swarmy dick. Uh, the stuff with Mike and his wife, Mike and his family, I thought was good too. Though I would have liked maybe a little more stuff with that to get more of a connection with to get more of a connection. But what I did get, I got it. Uh, another thing is that I think this movie takes a little too long to get to the actual disaster. I mean, the actual disaster. This doesn't really come to like the last hour of the movie. That's where the disaster really kicks in. All throughout that, we just get a real sense of the working class environment of the Deepwater Horizon. Now, from an aesthetic standpoint, from a authenticity standpoint, I like it. But from a movie standpoint, I think it kind of just drags the pacing just maybe a little too much, and I would have shaved maybe 15 minutes of that to get to the disaster that much sooner, and really get to the action and meat of the movie. But what Peter Berg did put together, I did overall enjoy. So yeah, those are just my quick thoughts on Deepwater Horizon. In the end, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. This is a really good movie. It's definitely not the most important movie you'll ever see, but it's definitely a good disaster movie. And Peter Berg gives good tribute and puts the right amount of class into telling this story. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Deepwater Horizon. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.